Hello and welcome to
Hey, we like your pod.
And we're going to tell you why. Hi, it's Dawn here, joined by my trusted partner, Matt Pickett, as we await the next game. Beep. How are you doing, Matt? What's up with your Saturday out there in Cincinnati? And can you believe we're heading into game 3 of the season already?
It's pretty crazy, right? I know. Saturday is shaping up to be a pretty chill day, like usual for me in Cincinnati. There's a Girl Scout thing happening with one of my kids, so I'm kind of excited about that. But otherwise, just kind of your typical, chores and getting ready for the game on Sunday and stuff like that sort of day.
I don't think I ever asked you if you had a Packer room. My brother has a Packer room.
I do not, but I should make one now. It's a good idea.
Right. I should make one. So, I'm spending my Saturday trying to read the 5 books I was supposed to start reading a couple of weeks ago, and post-surgery books, as I called them, but I'm still spending way more time than I guess budgeted for with my little kitten. And I've had her for 3 weeks. We are 3rd in the season, so it's like she's going to be my NFL cat. She's going to be my Packer cat. She'll remind me of our anniversaries and all that. So we celebrated our 3-week anniversary.
Congratulations.
Yeah. So in football season today, and by the way, that's her little bird. Can you hear her little bird in the back?
Yeah.
I forgot to take that away from her. I asked the kids if they could hold off on skateboarding for a half hour, but I forgot about the cat. It's just too much for me. So we're heading into week 3 of the NFL tonight with Thursday night football, Carolina and Houston. And I haven't even had a minute to look at the scores.
Me neither. Yeah. I mean, that's a game I'm not that invested in. So
yeah. Well, Houston's an interesting situation this year. They might, they're doing better than maybe expected. Carolina's doing great so far this season. So I like to see as many games as possible. Packers and the Bears, right, are tied for number 1 in the NFC North.
After 2 games, we can call it. I mean, actually, the Packers are ahead because we beat a division rival already. So technically, we're in the lead in the division.
Right.
Technically.
I looked. I was like, okay, so we're on top, and I couldn't remember why. But thank you for reminding me.
Yeah.
It takes me a while to figure those things out. I forget everything over the summer. So Packers got the win we all expected on Monday Night Football. We're all breathing a sigh of relief and celebrating, of course, but a little bit of a sigh of relief. And I heard, I forgot who I heard this. Well, it might have been Meerdink, mentioned that the fan base has reportedly dropped their approval ratings in everyone involved with the Packers. But
because he does those rankings as Twitter polls, and he does them that one was between the first and second games. It was where that happened. So it'll be interesting to see what this week's Twitter polls kind of reveal for that, because there's just one up on Thursday. But things dropped dramatically after the first game. That's probably what you saw for that.
Yeah, and particularly our quarterback, QB1. Yeah. So that was interesting. I was wondering where he was getting that from. I haven't had a chance to look. So I feel like the NFL overall has been super exciting, especially out here on the West Coast. Ravens got their win over the Chiefs.
It was so good. That game was awesome.
I know. That was good. That was really good. I was definitely rooting for that. Packers take on the 49ers out here in California. Of course, it's Northern California, which is very far away from me. But there are a lot of folks from Southern California going up that I know of. So Sunday night football, guys. So the question is, as usual, are you excited or are you scared? And how do you feel about all of this, Matt?
Both.
Yeah. I feel like I can't tell the difference inside when I'm scared and excited. Okay, kitten is now mewing.
Yeah, cute. I like it. Yeah, I mean, the thing about it is we're underdogs by 3.5 points on most of the Vegas betting books right now, which it's really close, and that's basically a home field advantage is kind of what's pushing it towards the 49ers. I was looking at the statistical projections that they post on the NFL.com, what's called win probability thing. they had the Packers up by a point with a 52% chance of winning on that. That's usually, I think, more reliable than like regular people's just like picking stuff because it takes a lot of stuff into account. So it's gonna be a good game. I'll leave it at that.
Yeah.
It might not go our way, but it's gonna be a good game.
That's, you know what? And honestly, that's all I asked for. I mean, that's not all I asked for. I want, but, oh goodness, she's really crying.
Oh, poor kitty.
I feel terrible. Okay, I'm a terrible mom now. Everyone knows it. I basically have been letting her tell me when she's hungry, and she only cries when she's hungry. So how about if you give us your 3 superlatives, Maddie, and I will feed her little herring dish.
That sounds good. All right. So we're just jumping ahead in the script. That's okay. So my 3 superlatives for the week, right? My first one was this. Once again, John Meerdink shows up in my 3 superlatives, not for the first time, probably not for the last time. This is kind of impressive because he was out for most of the week with his new baby and his family. But anyhow, he did an analogy just before the game about how playing the Lions is like going to the DMV. And this just, it really amused me. He was saying that it's not going to be fun. It's not going to be interesting. It's probably going to be worse than you think it will be. And it's always the worst when you really need something from them and they know you do. So that's kind of what it's like going to play the Lions. Not always fun or interesting. And I thought that was just hilarious. No one likes going to the DMV. Probably very few people out there like going to the DMV. And so just a great analogy, just amazing. My second superlative for the week, this was going to be most prescient, or you could say best prediction. This goes out to Andrew Mertig on the Friday Pack a Day podcast. They were talking about, he and Kyle, the co-hosts there, were talking about their X factor for the game against the Lions, and Andrew predicted Devondre Campbell would be the X factor. Kyle was annoyed because I think he wanted to choose that, and it was a really good pick because Devondre Campbell was amazing on the defense in the game against the Lions. He had 13 tackles, 10 of which were solo. He had an interception, and even though it was kind of late in the game, still an interception is an interception. I'm not going to sneeze at that. And apart from that, like for the season, he's been, he had 19 tackles for the season, 15 solo. Couple of other stuff. Yeah, the interception again, of course. So like Devondre Campbell's been doing really, really well. He's been in there for most of the snaps. And so to kind of take this on a little bit of a tangent for a second, one of the podcasts that I know that Don and I both listen to is the Head of the Pack, which is the one done by The Athletic, and the hosts are Matt Schneidman and Bill Huber, whom we both love. But on that podcast, they did it like right after the game was over. Matt Schneidman said that Devondre Campbell was a liability for the team. And I cannot believe he said that because, first of all, he looked good in the game. He had the interception, so that's kind of on my mind still. But then looking at the stats and everything, and when the PFF grades came out, he was the 4th highest rated defender for the Packers. So it's like, I think it's just a bad take, a rare bad take from Matt Schneidman. But anyhow, so a great prediction from Andrew Mertig is what my point was. And my third superlative for the week is most interesting article. Let's call it that. And that was an article I saw on Thursday, written by Ollie Connolly, a writer I was not familiar with before I saw it. It was actually quote tweeted by Sam Holman, who's one of my friends on Twitter, tremendous writer and football mind himself, a very, very good guy. And so he had quote tweeted this article by Ollie Connolly, and I have the name of it here. And of course, I'm sure I lost it as well at the same time. But basically the article was about breaking down like the, McVay, LaFleur kind of offensive schemes and thoughts, kind of breaking that down, and then talking about how defenses are starting to figure out how to counter that and be really effective, which is what we saw in the first game of the season against the Saints. And so that's part of the reason why the Packers had a really hard time getting anything going on offense, was because they were doing such a amazing job at anticipating what sort of like schemes and concepts LaFleur is going to be calling, and having amazing counters to that. It was a tremendous article. It was really great. It was like just long and detailed and full of information. I say long like it's bad. No, like it was really, it was in the best possible way. It took me a good chunk of time to sit down and read. I'm going to have to go back and reread it because it was just so much cool stuff to take in. So I did actually, quote tweeted as well to just get it, get more people kind of aware of it. So if you want to go back and check that out, of course, you can check it out in my Twitter. But man, that was an amazing article. I'm gonna try to find the title here really quickly here. Let's see. It was How NFL defenses are evolving to stop the boot action explosion. There it is by Ollie Connolly. Tremendous article.
That's great. I thought I did. I put it on the read list and I retweeted it on, hey, we like your podcast.
Yeah, that's right. You did.
Okay, good. Yeah, definitely going to read that. And I promise I'm going to read that before I even sit down with these books because I'll never get to it. I now have actually 6 books. So
6 books. Don, I realized as I was talking, I said the word tremendous like 5 times. I've been maybe listening to too much Dusty Evely. That could be the case. That is his word all the way. Tremendous. I
am generally pretty good at speaking publicly and don't use the word and I've listened to our podcast and I have been I'm ashamed of myself. I'm working on that, so we'll see if I got any better. I'm not aware of it, obviously. When people aren't aware.
We all do it. We all have little vocal tics. Most of us have as a vocal tic, so I wouldn't worry about it.
Yeah, and you know what? I think sometimes when we're tired, I've been more tired because of the surgery and all that, so we're just not quite as sharp. So we're getting better. We'd love to hear what you think of our podcast so far, and we do appreciate all the support we get in the shares. And thank you for letting me just run around and deal with my kitten.
For those who are listening, they don't know that Dawn was gone for about 3 minutes.
Well, I could hear everything. I was like, yeah. But okay, so I'm back, and tonight I forgot to mention before I get into my superlatives, we're going to talk about expectations and more specifically how the media and all of us are feeling about running it back with the Green Bay Packers and the Super Bowl prospects this year. And my superlatives are kind of lighthearted and in the moment because I think it's way too soon to give up on this relationship or even have higher expectations from this relationship when we're still in the dating phase of the season. So we're still in the early dating phase of the season and we all just need to have fun and enjoy the ride. So Maddie, that's kind of where I'm coming from tonight. And so I'm going to share a few things. I really, of course, thoroughly enjoyed seeing Lambeau in all its glories and all the fans on Monday Night Football.
So good.
I felt like the rain was the perfect touch, and I couldn't have been more happy seeing Aaron Jones get those touchdowns. Wow, that was he came out. I mean, he just came out firing up the crowd, firing up the team. He's amazing. I love him anyway, but I just love him more now. And then, of course, Tunyon got to run one in. And
that throw, that catch. Oh my gosh, that was. I still kind of. I don't understand it. It's wow.
Yeah, he is so good. So I was stoked to see that. So my superlatives this week represent my state of joy during this dating phase of the 2021 NFL season. And so here's what I have. I have the weirdest news of the week. And that was that cat. It was in the college football game. I believe it was Miami and Appalachian State.
Sounds right.
And I don't know if did you see it, Matt? Do you know what I'm talking about?
I saw it afterwards. Yeah.
Okay. OMG, that cat who was hanging from one of the levels in the stadium, and he had nothing to do but fall, and all the fans they got some towels to catch him, so he was like on a trampoline and brought him to safety. Of course, being a cat lover and an animal lover in general, having a little kitten, I was just freaked out when I saw that. That was crazy, but super happy for that happy ending. A couple years ago, I don't know if you remember that black cat walking across the field. They had to stop the game. I can't remember what game that was. I think it was a Monday Night Football game.
I think it was, yeah.
Yeah, that was fun. Cats are fun. I guess there are a lot of cats in stadiums. There are probably a lot of, feral cats living in those stadiums. So that was pretty cool. That was my weirdest news. And so for those of you who have no idea what I'm talking about, on September 11th, I'm reading from the Miami Gardens, Florida, from the Associated Press, the most notable catch Saturday during the game between number 22 Miami and Appalachian State didn't even happen on the field. Wasn't even a football. It was a cat. And it goes on. So if you want to look for that, we'll have that in our mentions, and you can click to the articles. My next superlative is the kind of leading into this from Kat, the best verb used in the NFL, and it gets me every time it's used by the announcers. It's scamper. I love the word scamper.
It's a great word. It's a great
Aaron
word.
Rodgers scampers over to the, and I always think of, a little kitten when I hear the word scamper. I don't, to have it used with a 6-foot gigantic football player,
Mm-hmm.
it's usually used with the quarterbacks when they, when they're running with the ball, but generally not with, maybe with Mahomes, but I love the word scamper. And so I'm just going to read you what I came up with on it's the definition. It's scamper, a verb used especially of a small animal or child. And I guess that's why I like it. Run with quick, light steps, especially through fear or excitement. And an example is he scampered like an overgrown puppy. I hear the word, I'm thinking puppies and kittens. That's all. Synonyms are scurry, scuttle, dash, of course, hasten, frolic, and scutter, which I didn't know was a word. So,
Scutter.
yes, scutter and scuttle. So, scamper, bring it on, announcers. Love that word. Makes me happy and joyous. So, and then last but not least, I'm sure a lot of people have heard about this one, but again, it's the most touching. And this is our coach, Packers coach and trainer, Flea is his nickname. And I hear Matt LaFleur talking about Flea all the time. So it's kind of cool.
They all do, yeah.
Yeah, to give color to these people. He retrieved Aaron Jones' lost locket. He, in one of the second of his 4 touchdown runs, he evidently dropped this locket that had his father's ashes. He had already dedicated the game. Here I go with the dedicated the game to his father, who he lost last year to COVID-19 at a very young. I believe his father was only 57 years old, so it was quite tragic. The rest of Aaron's family was there, and he found out he lost the locket. And Bryan Engel, his nickname is Flea. He was out there in the wee hours of the morning in the rain on a wet field, and at 1:45 a.m. Aaron Jones tweeted that Bryan Engel, or Flea, he found that little locket. And OMG, how much better is it? That there's nothing that tops that. So
it's so good. Yeah,
it's so good. So Bryan is the head athletic trainer. He's not a coach. I misspoke. He's a head, although I think they refer to him as a coach here and there. I don't know.
Do they? I think they just call him Flea all the time, really.
Yeah, mostly just Flea.
Just Flea.
Something cats don't want, or so this whole thing comes full circle. I wonder where he got that name. That would be an interesting story. How did Bryan
I'd love to know that. Yeah.
Yes, let's find out. Bryan, if you're listening, we'll have to tag him. How'd you get that nickname? We love you. Thank you for doing that for our precious Aaron Jones. What a great, great, great story. And there'll be links to all of that. So yeah, it's pretty cool to get the human side and the behind the scenes side of all the folks behind the scenes, behind the players, after hearing Coach LaFleur mention them over, in press conferences and whatnot. And it's truly shows what a tight-knit team we have. And again, it's the most touching or heartwarming. So what do you think of these best ofs, Maddie?
Yeah, I mean, the Aaron Jones story with his necklace, that was really touching, because it really tells you a lot about how much love there is for him, and how much they respect him and stuff like that. That somebody be out there, in the, in the middle of the night, basically on a wet field. I think it's probably still raining at that point, looking for it. I mean, that's Aaron Jones, beloved, and that's the kind of culture they have in the team. Is like looking out for each other, it seems like, and having each other's backs. And I love that. I love that. I
love that so much. Well, Matt, any last words for us tonight before we sign off?
It's like you were saying before. Whether we win or lose, like, just enjoy the game on Sunday. It'd be easy to get really emotionally invested, and I'm sure I will to a great degree. But it's going to be a great game, I hope, and that's all we can hope for, is a great game. Yeah, show up and play. Show up and play. Please do that. No, I agree, and I mean, Coach, why did I just lose his name? It was just in my brain and it just flew out.
coach for the San Francisco 49ers is phenomenal.
Kyle Shanahan.
Shanahan, my goodness.
Yes.
It was in my brain. It went out of my brain. And I hear about him all the time because I do follow what's going on with the 49ers, Chargers, and the Rams out here. So Shanahan's brilliant. And they always see, and my sister said, Lori, who I've mentioned probably on every podcast, I'm sure she loves it. She said that the 49ers seem to be our Packers kryptonite. So
But we beat them last year. I think we broke the curse last year, actually. If not for that, I'd be even more like afraid of a loss coming up. But we beat them last year, so
Did we?
Well, they were like full of like ridiculous injuries. Like half their team was out. Yeah, so it was like fighting the JV 49ers, not the actual varsity 49ers.
True.
But still, it was a win. It was still a win. And it was in California.
Yeah, and we had a short week too that time, like we do this time. But also, we had a lot of injuries too.
Not as many as them, but
yeah. Well, we did. We really did. So, but yes, we did take the win, and let's go. Then let's just smash them into the ground.
Yes.
No, I'm sure, and a good game for sure. Show up for sure. We can't have any of what we saw the first game of the season. Okay, I'm not gonna bring it up. I didn't say that. Just
it's in the past. On
edit this out.
we don't talk about New Orleans anymore.
No.
Jacksonville.
All right. Well, everyone, thank you so much for joining us here. We're super glad to know all of you who are listening. And we have the luxury of being fans of both you and the most storied team in the NFL. We do appreciate your support, your subscriptions, and sharing our pod. And we look forward to seeing you next week on
Hey, we like your pod.
Bye for now, everyone.
TTFN, folks. I know. That's why I went with TTFN because Tigger, being a cat like he is. So that's what I was thinking. All right.
Thank you, Maddie.